Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. This year should be a special schus for my grandfather, Rabbi Alexander Zusha ben Rabbi Yosef. His yahrzeit is today. We're going to be learning the Bikodshim, the Rambam in the Sefer Hayad, in the Sirim Mizberach, Paragalaf Alachazayin writes, Hamatam Bikodshim, etc. Loike. Shrei Namar Bekarban Kol Mum Lo Yebo, Mipi Shmuel Lamdu, Shezeh Azhara, Shlo Yiten Boy Mum. Vein Loike El Bezman Shavis Hamikdash Kayim, Shrei Roy Lekarban U Paslei. So the Rambam says that if a person inflicts a blemish on an animal and Bikodshim, he gets malchus, because it says Kol Mum Lo Yebo, and they learned this in Azhara not to place a mum in an animal, but he only gets malchus if there's a Beis Hamikdash. Why? Because then it's Roy Lekarban, and he passled it from being a karban, but Bisman Hazeh, that there's no Beis Hamikdash, Rachmana Litzlan, even though he was over and Elois to say, he does not get malchus. Because if Mishnah talks about it, look at what he says, and look in the Lechem Mishnah, he asks from the Sugya, everybody talks about Avodah Zarah, Daf Yud Gimel on the Beis. And it's L'chor Soser Divrei Rambam. Minchas Chinuch talks about it in Reish Pei Zayin, Os Yud Zayin. And Al Kopanim Minchas Chinuch writes that since the Rambam paskins in Perek Beis, Melchus Beis of Chira, Halacha Dalid, and also in Perek Vov, Halacha Tesvav, there were makriv kol karbonos al pi shem beis hamikdash kayim. So because of that, he holds that bizman hazeh one is over and alav if he's matal mum bikodshim, and the Gemara in Avodah Zarah does not hold like that. So that's the difference between the Rambam and the Sugin of Avodah Zarah. Look in the Minchas Chinuch. That is not our topic. Hopefully, we will have another shir discussing that more at length. Akopanim, the sheet of the Rambam is that we're makriv karbanos, afal pi she'ein bias, and therefore there's a lav. The only thing is that he blived with the tzarich iyun, that he writes that even though he's over and alois to say he doesn't get malchus, but I don't understand. Since you're over and a lav bizman hazeh, so it'd be right to get malchus. Manavshach, if you're not over and a lav, there's no malchus, but if you're over and a lav, it should be malchus. So what's the idea here? No malchus, but a lav. How does that work? Look also in the Rambam, in the 19th paragraph of Ma'aseh Korbanos Lachat Tesvav, he writes that Hashaychit Kachim Bizman Hazeh Bachutz, or he's Ma'ala Korban Bachutz Mechutz LeBeis Hamikdash, so he's Chayav because of the Yisur of Shchita and Allah Bachutz. So it's Mashma Lefi Pshutai that there's no difference between Zman Habayis or Zman Hazeh V'yesh La'ayin B'zeh. So this whole in of Makriv and Alpha Pisha in Bayis, there's a famous Chinuch who writes that there's no bias means, Makriv Alpha Pisha bias means that it's a Rishus, but it's not a Chova. It's not Pshat that you're Chayiv to bring Korbanos without a bias. Pshat is that you have a Heter to bring Korbanos without a bias. That's the Chinuch says. It's also Meduyik in the Rambam, in Sofel Chos Maisa Korbanos, Mishachat Kachim Bizman Hazeh, V'em Chutzar Chayiv, Neshu Roy Lekarv B'fnim, Sharei Mutter Lahakriv Alpha Pisha Ein Bias. Because it says a heter lahakriv afal pi shein bias or is a begeter heter bilvad, but there's not a mitzvah. And according to this, l'ch'oira mitam zeh, says the Or Avram, the Rambam was mechalik, and he writes that bizman hazeh a person's over and alois to say if he's matal mum bikodshim, because you can bring karbanos and he's passing it, but he doesn't get malchus. And the reason is because even though you're allowed to bring karbanos, but there's no chova, there's no mitzvah. And because of this, it's an Isser Kal. It's a lighter Isser, and it's not roy to get malchus for this Isser, since there's no chiyuv to bring korbanos. The Kiryas Sefer, he explains B'das HaRambam, Aval B'zman Hazeh Pisha Avra Lois to say Eina Loike, the Kevin Dein Omid LeKorban, Lav Midi Pasal Bey. And B'zman Hazeh, even though he's over in a Lois to say, he doesn't get malchus, since it's not Omid LeKorban, he doesn't pass it. L'ch'oira, we have to mefarish his intention. When he writes that Bizman Hazeh Omid LeKorban, it's not because it's not roy l'akriv l'klal, because we pass in the makrivim korbanos avol pi she'ein bayis. Rather, we have to say that what he means to say is that there's no chova, there's no mitzvah to be makriv Bizman Hazeh, and because this is the case, so it's mischalek. Legabe the averis halav, so he's over even Bizman Hazeh because it's roy l'akrava, and one's not allowed to be matil mum. But since there's no chova, there's no malchus. But this requires a biur, since he's over in a lois to say. So why shouldn't he get malchus on the Averas Halav of this Maisa that he was matil mum Bikodshim v'adavar tzarich biur. So explains the Or Avram based on the Sefer from the Gemara Nedarim and Daf Samachesam and Aleph. There it says, "Iboy lubal megas gayis or miklish kolish." We know that if an arusa, she needs both her husband and her father to be made for her vows. They have a 50-50 stake in her vows. So the Gemara says, "Heichi come and so the Gemara asks, "What is this? Does the husband chop it up into half, and does he knock off his chelek and make that there's only the father's part left, but his part is completely erased, or he farshvachts, he just weakens the entire neder? Does he completely remove his part, or does he just weaken the father's part, the whole part altogether?" And the Gemara says, what's the nafkamina? The nafkamina is if she made a neder, this girl from 2 zaysim, and then the aris hears this and he is made for the neder, and then she eats it. If we say megas guy is, if we say that he splits it up 50-50, so then she gets malchus. Why does she get malchus? Because she said she's not going to eat 2 zaysim, so he cut off his parts, that's one. She ate the other one, she gets malchus. But if you say miklish kolish, so then he weakens the whole thing, then it's just an issa, there's going to be no malchus at all. Writes the Ran, Kalaimar Oretz she'eno made for Ela b'shutfusei da'ov, the Oretz is only made for Nedarim, with the shutfus of the father, kishem made for Chelkoi, Megas Gayis, Kalaimar, shechoite chachatzi haneder legamrei. Megas Gayis means that he cuts the neder in half, he cuts it up, makes it into a half a neder, and he's mevatel the other half. He doesn't weaken it, he just takes his portion and he completely removes it. Oh, miklish kol zok the Ran. The leinema techtach chatzi haneder de levatel hu palgo vitach palgo koi. We don't say that one half, the husband's half, still remains, and the or the father's half still remains, and the husband removes his half. No, if we say miklish kolish, pshat is that he just weakens everything. The neder is still there; it just doesn't have the same power, and therefore there's no malchus because he weakened the entire neder. So it's still going to be an isser, but it's not going to be malchus. So the Ran didn't explain to us what's the isser here. If it's a miklish kolish, what's the isser? So the Kiryas Sefer writes that near the time mishum the kevin first havari me'akva kishehefer echad kolish lekulei nadra linyan malchus v'kom le b'isur dairaisa kechatzi shir dahavi dairaisa. Very interesting Kiryas Sefer that since he was maklish, he weakened the neder linyan malchus. So this is considered a chatzi shir. It's still going to be an isur dairaisa, but it's like a chatzi shir isur dairaisa. So normally we find the concept of chatzi shir, we're talking about kamus, we're talking about quantity. But here, it seems to be an under mahalach. Here we seem to be talking about quality, that the neder, the echus of the neder, was now, in other words, it used to be a neder of a husband and a father, and now the husband cut off his portion, he revoked his portion in the neder, and now it's only the father. That weakens the whole neder. That means the echus, the quality of the neder, is a lower quality neder. And therefore, since it's a lower quality neder, the Zakir Sefer seems to be saying, it's chatzi shir, since it's a lower quality neder, there's still going to be an isser here. But the miklish kolish, what it does is, it removes the malchus. And to understand this, we should say as follows, that b'yisodo, it's really davar echad, because lefi pshuto, the gather of the din is chatzi shir is that if you lack a shir, so it doesn't have the chashivus of a maisa isser. Only when you have a maisa chashuv of a shir shalem, then a person gets malchus. So that's when it comes to a chatzi shir b'kamus, and how much it doesn't have the same chashivus. So it's the same thing with chatzi shir be'echus. When you have chatzi shir be'echus, pshat is that it doesn't have the same quality of Isser. And the Mela, the Neder, is weakened, and since the Neder is weakened, there's going to be no Malchus, there's only going to be an Isser. So we can say the same thing now, taking this logical construct that we learned from this very Lamdish Sugi in Nedarim, about Miklish Kolish and Megas Gayas. Miklish Kolish means that you weaken the quality of the neder, making it only an isser and no longer a malchus. So we can say the same thing, like about the isser of matil mum Bikodshim, because b'pshuto shel ha'isser It's that when a person is matil mum, pshat is that he's mafkia from this carbon adin hakrava, that it was omedu mitzuva al kach to be makriv the carbon, and memela by putting the mum on the carbon, now he's mafkia this carbon from being brought as a carbon, but that's all bisman shebeis hamikdash kayim. Then it was a mitzvah nachovel akrivo, and when he was matil mum bikodshim, so paka mimenu hay mitzvah v'choiva, the mitzvah went away. But bisman azeh, that there's no choivu mitzvah hakrava, you're just allowed to be makriv because the kedusha is not batel and makriv and alpha pisha ain't bias, but there's no more chova or mitzvah. If so vaday kolish lo ha'isr shebazeh mizman v'shabayis kaim. The isr is much weaker today. Since there's no more beis hamikdash, there's no more chiyuv, so the hatolas mum is not the same quality of isr. So it's sort of like a chatzi shir be'echus. It's like a chatzi shir in the quality of the isr, because now there's no longer beis hamikdash, no longer a chiyuv to bring korbanos, and memela by being matil mum and disqualifying this animal for being brought as a carbon, what he's essentially doing is he is over on a lav, he's passing it for being brought, but it's lo nora, it's not the worst thing, because anyway there's no chiyuv b'zman hazeh, so that sort of knocks off the that's what removes the malchus, it makes it an isser that's more kal. The Rambam writes there that even though he's over in a loisa say he doesn't get malchus, so it's mashma lefi pshuto that this loisa say is the lav of kol mum lo yebo, that even bisman hazeh he's mamish over on this lav, just he doesn't get malchus. So if we say that kipshuto, so it's muchach according to what we said that b'chol makom that we say chatzi shir aser min haTorah, pshat is that he's over on this iser mamish, even though it doesn't have a shir shalem. That legabe averis halav, there's no chilik. That's the idea of a chatzi shir. Chatzi shir is that you're over. There's a chakira like that, but there's a tzad that the Avram discusses elsewhere. That on one hand you can say that a chatzi shir is a completely new isser of chatzi shir that applies to all isurim. You can say no, chatzi shir each isser it's the same isser. It's just a half of that isser, but it's that isser. Not a general, it's not an Isser Klali of Chatzi Shir that applies equally everywhere, but it's a specific Isser here. Each Aveira has its own Chatzi Shir, and the shame Isser is that Aveira. And that's the Chor what we're talking about over here. That he's over on Kol Mum, that's a pshat over here, he's over on Kol Mum Lo Yabo. He places the Mum, he just doesn't get Malchus. He just doesn't get Malchus, because he was over on a lesser Isser. It was only a Chatzi Shir. So we have more to be mamshich in this sugya, and our hope is that we will continue to see Siyata D'Shmai in the next shir, and we should be socha lilmod b'lamid lishma v'las l'kaims kol devei sam t'ratz b'havo. We're in the very big sword in this shir of Chatzi Shir be'echus, and that's what removes the malchus and makes it only a lav, but the Chatzi Shir is still the same shem Isser. It's just a lesser Isser, and therefore there's no malchus. And so if davra kol nishma, es Elokim Yirah, ves mitzvahs of Shmor, ki zeh kol adam mitzvah Shem. Hope to continue next time. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.